Hey, this is a bonus episode. This is me continuing my conversation with JJ French, guitars for Twisted Sister, but the focus this time is also on his record collection, but the blues. He's a guitarist. He's deeply influenced by blues guitar players, his heroes, and he's pretty heartfelt in his remarks. So that's worth sticking around for. And also musician jokes, which I gotta say, he's a good joke teller. So anyway, this is me talking with JJ French.
Here's the thing. To me, blues is my classical music. And when people ask me what music do I listen to contemporary music, I go, blues is forever. Blues makes me feel good. Blues just calms my soul. So every morning I'll come in here and put a blues album on, and it just makes my day. It just really makes my day. It's why I listen to music. I love the stuff. So the way my record collection is set up in this apartment, in this office, is behind Steve. There's the American section, and then there's the American rock section, and on the top is the American jazz section, which is with the Atlantic stuff and the jazz stuff on the top shelf there. That's all the jazz albums. Most of them are given to me by Amadou Digan and Atlantic Records, so I've got a ton of jazz stuff. On this side over here is a lot of the British rock albums that go back to the mid-'60s. And then there's box sets, a lot of different box sets, and AC/DC and the Cars, and a lot of great classic box sets. Over here, the top row is Acoustic Sounds, Mobile Fidelity, DCC, all up there, those special pressings. And then there's the blues section, and the blues section is really extensive. It covers that shelf, and it covers that shelf, and it covers what I'm holding in my hand. There's a lot of blues albums, and this really is the reason why I play guitar. So let's go through this album, Paul Butterfield Blues.
Great record.
This album is what introduced me to blues guitar through Mike Bloomfield, and he plays a Telecaster on the back of it, and I bought a Telecaster in '66 down on 48th Street for $145, and $137.50.
They were the first rock band on Elektra? That's Elektra, right?
It's Elektra, yes. So this was a very, 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 very important record for me. This was equally as important. The Bluesbreakers album is very famous.
Definitely.
The way the way Clapton merged a Les Paul and a Marshall amplifier, this became extremely influential to me. And then Albert King's Born Under a Bad Sign, and Albert King became very influential to me. So when I was 16, I had the Telecaster, and I got mononucleosis. I was home from school for 6 weeks, and I asked my father to get me these 3 records, which he did. And
the Albert King
album.
Oh, those
'67 Bluesbreakers and Paul Butterfield.
Okay.
And I listened to these records over and over and over. And in those days, you picked up your arm, you went back, you played it. You picked up a guitar lick, you picked up the arm, you played it. When you wore out the album, you put a penny and you taped it onto the top of the tone arm until you wore it out. So these are the reasons why I play guitar. And basically, after 6 weeks of that, I emerged from my sickbed as a guitar player. That's really how.
And so also always self-taught?
Yeah, self-taught. So this is it. But I have to understand, in those days, there was 1,000 guitar players. Everybody is in a band. So when you hung out in Central Park, there was always somebody there with a guitar. And if you needed to know a lick, they showed you how to play a solo. When Zeppelin played, the day after I saw Zeppelin, some guy in the park knew how to do Communications Breakdown. He showed me how to, Good Times, Bad Times, showed me how to do the solo, Good Times, Bad Times. This is just, you could do it. We didn't have YouTube. You had human beings. And the beauty of having humans is you jammed with them. So you learned timing and pacing and proper performance within the context of actually humans. When you have these young kids in front of the computer all day long, yes, they become technicians, but there's no soul. They don't understand what the hell they're doing. So that's really it. Freddie King, of course, is the reason why I own gold top guitars, because Freddie King is just, he's a monster. Freddie King is just incredible. So Albert King, BB, Freddie, all of them. Magic Sam, another spectacular blues guitar player, not particularly well known, but when I heard this album, I learned I had to play the riffs he was playing. It was from the Magic Sam album. First lead solo I learned was Keith Richards ripping off Chuck Berry on Down the Road a piece. A guy who lives in my building, Michael, knew exactly one riff, and he knew that riff, and he taught me that riff. And so this album was so different from a Beatles album. This was dark and dangerous. The Beatles were peppy and happy, and parents loved them, but this was steeped in all sorts of drugs and craziness. Now, the very first show I ever went to, by the way, was the Animals in Central Park in 1966. And
wow.
Here's the importance of that show. That show was on August 5th, 1966. And why would I know that? I mean, the question is why? I don't have a ticket stub, and I'll tell you why I know that. Because Keith Richards told his girlfriend, Barbara Keith, that was her name, that she should go to the Animals show at Central Park at the Schaefer Festival, grab Chaz Chandler, and take her down to the Village to see this guy in a band called Jimmy James and the Blue Flames. And it was that night. So I was 14. I watched the Animals on stage. Little did I know that Barbara Keith grabbed Chaz Chandler, took him down to the Village, walked into the Cafe Wa, saw Jimmy James and the Blue Flames, a.k.a. Jimi Hendrix, and told Jimi Hendrix, I'm quitting the Animals in 2 weeks. I'm coming back to manage you, and I'm taking you to England to make you a star. And that's exactly what he did. So it was that particular night. And Michael, the guy who showed me the guitar lick from Down the Road a piece, he's the guy who took me to the show. There's another great picture of Freddie King with his gold Les Paul. Doesn't that look like every white middle American mom's fear of a black man? Like, look at that. You're coming to get my daughter. Like, this became, I love this picture. Freddie King is such a great player, but look at that picture, So I own gold tops because of that. I own Sunburst Les Pauls because of Leslie West, which is why I have a 54 Junior in the corner there. More Freddie King, Buddy Guy, Junior Wells. But when you really get into it, it's these guys. It's Howlin' Wolf, okay, Homesick James. This is all Delta Blues stuff. Muddy. Look, Electric Mud. I don't know if people
I love that record.
Great, yeah, we can tell. I did a lot of drugs on that cover, right?
Yeah.
Lightning Hopkins. Lightning Hopkins, Elmore James, Willie Dixon, Robert Johnson, Sonny Boy Williamson, Eddie Cleanhead Vincent, Memphis Slim, Fred McDowell. Here's the.
Okay, so I want to hear some musician jokes.
Yeah. So what's the difference between a drummer and a pepperoni pizza?
I don't know this one.
Pepperoni pizza can feed a family of 4.
Okay.
Why do guitar players put drumsticks on the dashboard of their car?
I don't know.
So they can park in handicapped spaces. Why do drummers' cars get worse gas mileage than everybody else's? Because the Domino's delivery sign on the roof of their car is not very aerodynamic. What do you throw a bass player that's drowning? His amplifier. What's the difference between a lead singer and a terrorist?
You can negotiate with the terrorist.
You can negotiate with the terrorist. But you know how a lead singer changes a light bulb, don't you? He holds a bulb in one hand and waits for the world to revolve around him. Guitar player jokes are interesting. My favorite, it's a little, I'll try to get to it, but a guitar player dies and he wakes up and the devil's standing in front of him. And he says, am I in hell? And the devil says, yeah, welcome to hell. And the guy gets up and he goes, it doesn't look like hell. It looks like Madison Square Garden. He goes, yeah, well, it's a little overblown, but this is hell. And it's an arena. It's a state-of-the-art arena. So he says to the devil, oh, my God, this is hell? The devil says, yeah. He goes, well, is there a band down there? He goes, yeah, you want to come down and see the band? So he walks down to the stage, and there's Jimi Hendrix and John Bonham and, Keith Emerson, and they're all on stage. And he goes, are you sure it's hell? And Devil goes, yeah, it's hell, all right. And he goes, he's looking around, the PA system's amazing. He goes, can I play with these guys? And the Devil goes, yeah, sure, go ahead. What do you want to play with? The guy goes, I don't know, Marshall Plexis, you got them? And Devil goes, yeah, but 6 Plexis show up. And he goes, am I in hell? He goes, yeah, you're in hell. He says, what about a guitar? The Devil says, what do you want? He goes, I don't know, a 59 Les Paul Sunburst? The Devil goes, no problem. Bang, it's 59 bursts. He's going, oh my God, are you sure I'm in hell? Yeah, you're in hell. Well, the guy had a chord to plug in. He goes, yeah, here's a chord. The guy plays an E chord. It's like the greatest tone in the world. He looks at the devil. He goes, when can I play my solo? And the devil goes, never. Good guitar player joke. Best lead singer joke in the world. which is a modified Buddy Rich joke, but it is a great lead singer joke. And this really explains it. This joke was vetted by Mick Jagger, Robert Plant, I think Brian Johnson. Dee actually told me this joke. This is how, remember, lead singers are a species of human that we all have to endure, whether it's in Aerosmith or the Rolling Stones or whatever. You know, if you read the stories.
The other guys in the band, not the
guys in the
fans.
band have to endure what it's like to live with a thing called a lead singer. It's a species of human. And, you know, they're important, you know, but the way it works is that a tour manager walks up to a hotel clerk and says, I got to get the key to room 201, get it. My singers hasn't answered the phone. We have a big show at the arena tonight. And the hotel clerk says, sir, you know as well as I do, your lead singer was found dead in the hotel room this morning. I know it's traumatic. And the tour manager walks away and comes back a half hour later and says, I got to get the key to room 201. I got to get my singer up. Hotel clerk says, sir, you see, all the fans are crying and the press is everywhere. You know your lead singer was found dead in the hotel room this morning. He walks away, comes back 5 minutes later. I got to get the key to room 201 and get the lead singer up. And the hotel clerk just loses his mind. He grabs the guy and he goes, listen to me. Your lead singer is dead. Do you hear me? And the tour manager nods. He goes, your lead singer is dead. Do you understand those words? Yes. Then why do you keep asking me to repeat it? And the tour manager says, because I love the way it sounds. I think Spinal Tap is brilliant, though. In fact, when Spinal Tap opened, I saw it on Broadway and 83rd Street, and I had just come back from Europe on our first tour. And the episode in which Paul Schaefer plays the radio rep, and nobody shows up at the autograph signing, it's exactly what happened to us. And we had done a tour throughout England, and every time we showed up at a record store, there was always crowds. And there was this one kid who was really the most obnoxious. He was this fat kid, and he kept following us from city to city to Sydney. City was Liverpool and Manchester and, you know, all these Leicester and all these English towns. And he kept on coming in and getting at the front of the line. And so we get to London for our final show of this tour supporting Can't Stop Rock and Roll. We had a top 10 single. We were on top of the pops, all good. And we get to the HMV in Marble Arch, and nobody's there, like nobody's there. So we're standing behind the counter with Sharpies, and no one knows who we are. And some kid comes up with an album thinking we're cashiers, you know, like, and he puts the records down, and that fat kid shows up. And he comes to the front and he goes, they're not cashiers. They're Twisted Sister. We were never happier to see this guy in our life. Anyway, the radio promotion guy, I messed up. It's me. I didn't do the promotion right. Then you have Paul Schaefer doing it, Spinal Tap. So it's exactly what happened. That movie is absolutely brilliant.